Let's rock.
Welcome to the spin, Tyler. Come on. August 21st, we're back. As Skipping It Real says, 2-for-1 action. You got 2 shows in a week. A little lucky for you guys. Vittorio, what's up? One of our favorites, Heavy Sevy. There's a heavy John Young. Did you know that, JY?
Yes, I've seen him.
Of course you have. He's huge.
Outside of McDonald's.
That's where we talk. That's where the John Youngs meet.
Omar, using the TMZ membership icon there. Too bad YouTube doesn't let us show it through here. ESC Sounds, great sponsor of ours during the CrossFit Games. Maybe Spin 10 is still out there. Get a deal on your favorite mini
headphones.
ESC mini and headphones. And
good night, Melanie. Thanks for telling us that you're not going to watch the
show. Hey, she gave us a view. Well, it's been quite a week. Tyler, how you doing?
Good, man. Going through the comments was fun this morning. It's really like entertaining.
Dude, I can't keep up with them. There's so many freaking comments. Like every once in a while I'll click on one and just see like the absolute like just unbelievable thread of one of the comments and how much they go back and forth arguing. It's wild.
I'm going to start out weird. Did you know Prince was a believer in chemtrails? And he had a theory. He had a theory that they used it as a mind control device, that the government would fly over a part of the city. They would drop all their chemtrails, and then everybody in the little street would start fighting and killing each other and stuff. And right now I feel like that's what's going on in the CrossFit world, is that somebody flew over, dusted us, and now everybody's just up in arms. And it's like, hey guys, maybe just watch and see.
No, you have to react very quickly and very angrily on social media. John, how you doing?
I'm great, man. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little burnt out on things, but it'll be okay.
We'll get through it.
I was coaching today, and I don't know something happened, and then I had 70 text messages from the chat, and I'm like, and I have to check it to see if somebody got fired or something big happened, right? And then like I'm trying to sift through these while like the workout's going on, and then somebody broke the seat off the Echo bike, and then I had to go fix that, and then I'm like in coach mode, so I'm coaching for 10 minutes, and I come back to my phone, there's 60 more text messages, and I'm just like, okay, like I just don't like. I don't care anymore. I don't. I'm like, wake me up when something happens. Whether I like it or not, I'll deal with it when it happens, and I just don't care.
Well, I appreciate you for joining. And
you do a whole show that makes you happy.
But I'm ready to be positive on the spin. I'm ready to rock. Like, let's go get it.
That's right. So we're gonna. I was going through the comments and trying to think through like what topics can we talk about today, and I came up with 2: the Rogue Qualifying System and the PFAA statement. JY Barbell, get yours.
Somebody asked me about my shirt. I was just showing him.
You need to get one. He needs everybody's support. So we'll go through our viewer comments again. Leave some comments down there. We'll read them off next week. Subscribe, all that fun stuff. Tyler, you need to get some armor on for your the comments this week, and then we'll get into some Rogue Qualifying System. At Joshua Patterson, man, Tyler and I had the same parents. You can't share, then no one gets anything.
Can't do it with 3 brothers, man.
It's good advice there, John, as a parent.
Can you say it again?
If you can't share with a sibling or another friend, then nobody gets anything. Just take it away from everybody. Nobody gets it. So
I think the best one gets it. And then if
you're going to do that to your kids,
and then if you want it, be the best one. Everybody's got different levels. You don't have to be. You don't have to be better. You don't have to be better. You just got to be your best one. No. Everybody's different, right? Everybody's got different levels. If there's a scaled athlete that sells her soul, and she holds 70 on the Echo bike for, I don't know, 40 seconds, and she's never ever done that. And then you got some big dude who cranked 100 for 10 seconds and beat her. She worked harder. She did better. She's the best one that day.
So if she wants that pull-up bar, she gets that pull-up bar. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. She's earned it. Yeah.
Tyler's like, nope, that pull-up bar is off limits. I'm going to take it down. Nobody.
This is literally a segment of an athlete biopic where it's like, yeah, my dad said you got to be the best or don't be around here.
Go ahead, Tyler.
Mel guy just got here, guys.
Oh, good.
At Carl10, Tyler is so wrong with this. It's not about control. It's about basic safety. And if you listen carefully, athletes have said this many times. Listen to Matt on Rogan.
Yeah, I'm not going to listen to that again.
That's been a few years. At Barb Wirecat is very thankful for our show and the diverse thoughts expressed. At Lynn Moe 1975, who is this imbecile wearing the white headphones? For real, what an ass. There you go.
These are high grade headphones.
Why did she say it like that at the end?
What an ass.
What an ass.
At Laura Spooner, we met her at the games. They should wait till all of the info is out and then make a decision when the dust has settled and the emotions aren't so high. Makes no sense to make a decision when emotions are at an all-time high. Just my 2 cents.
Agreed.
That would be way too simple. And, not as exciting.
And responsible.
So, yeah. CrossFit should have made Tyler read these like mean tweets.
I did that all this morning.
I'm super down to pull up like the meanest things and then just make you read it. I'm super down if we want to do that.
Send them and make him read them.
Yeah,
the best.
They hate us because they ain't us. That'll be the segment. That will be the segment.
The absolute worst comments.
Do it.
Bro.
There was a lot to choose from recently.
Was not family appropriate or podcast appropriate, probably. But
there's plenty.
Canadian Glory Hole is that the one?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
yeah. At Megan Lorna, still can't watch the final. Is it YouTube in Australia or the rest of the world missing out too? No, you cannot watch the final event of the 2024 CrossFit Games.
You can watch our reaction to it though. And it's you'll be wondering what you're missing.
It sounds exciting for sure. I'll tell you that right now. Jacqueline Robertson. Spin Reads Mean Comments show. Never know.
That's a segment. It's not a whole show.
We're gonna have.
Well, I will get depressed if we do a whole show. That's a 5-minute segment.
I used to think we couldn't do it. Now we could definitely. I think
we have enough hate, right?
The more we'll have enough hate.
The more hate, the better.
It's funny because like back in the day when we first started the show, there's no way I could have handled the hate, and now it's like waking up. It's no big deal.
You've merely adopted the hate. I was born. I was molded by it. I didn't see positive comments until Spin.
At Helson Albernaz. This is so hard to believe. James Sprague, the effing James Sprague, is a 2024 CrossFit Games champion.
Yep.
No. There you go. There was so many comments to go. I think last night's show had over 110, almost 120 comments, something like that.
Yeah.
A lot of it was.
I looked on there and I saw that y'all were like went an hour after I got off, and then I saw 122 comments, and I was like, I'm good. I probably got it. Like I don't know what was said, but like
we're gonna sit this one out.
I probably got what happened.
I mean, they weren't all original, right? Like, so somebody says something, and then the next thing you know, you have like 6 people arguing back and forth. Like, you're an idiot. How could you say that? Because I said it because you're an idiot.
Yeah, I just assumed Travis was, pro Brent Fikowski, Vellner, whatever their stance was, and Tyler had about 8 analogies that nobody knew what was happening, and Spin was just mediating. That's what I assume happened.
What's great about the comments is that like there's people who are angry because I was on one side of the argument, and there's people who are angry because I was on the other side of the argument, and then there's people who are angry because I was on no side of the argument.
Yeah. Did we bring up the glory hole comment? We did not bring it up, but if you want to go check it out, trying to be a little.
It's a doozy.
Yeah. We did talk about biker gangs though, so I don't know if you were still there.
I was here for that one.
That was a good analogy. It was one of my better ones. I stand by that analogy.
Ed Al
I stand with that analogy.
Ed Al wants to bring back Brad Pitt. Get rid of JY.
There we go.
Ed's been trying to get rid of me for years. Ed, Scott Perkins, and CrossFat, I think, get together and just talk about how much they don't like me.
The John Young hate support group.
Yeah, those 3, probably Pink Shorts too.
Pink Shorts is not a fan.
Other than that, there's probably one more I'm not thinking about. But those guys, they will get on every podcast just to hate.
ET.
Yeah. There you go. All right, let's talk about the before we get to the PFAA and let some people call in. We'll open the phone line at that point. The Rogue Invitational Qualifying System has been updated for the 2024 CrossFit Games, and some interesting reactions. If you're not familiar with this is a multi-year ranking system that Rogue put together that basically looks at the CrossFit Open, the CrossFit quarterfinals, the CrossFit Games, and then the Rogue Invitational, and gives people points based off that. You get less points as the years go by. So results from 3 years ago gets less points than this year's CrossFit Games. So, recent performance weighs more heavily than something from 3 years ago. And their idea is, of the 20 games or the 20 spots for the Rogue Invitational, they're going to take 5 from the qualifier, a minimum of 10 from this qualifying system, and then they'll figure out the next 5 looking at the 2024 CrossFit Games and who they like. And of course, everything they say is then footnoted with, this is an invitational, so we can do whatever we want. And so let's take a look at the rankings.
And well, you could probably pick who they're going to invite too. I guess you got to wait and see who doesn't come.
Yeah, so they said that they're going to have invites out by Friday. So athletes will start having an idea of.
It'll be interesting if the Europeans don't want to commit to this, but it's in Europe. You know what I mean?
There's no way. I'm imagining
they're never going to have this opportunity. I guess they will, but it's the first time they've had an opportunity like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be huge, and then we'll see who wants to compete. On the women's side, Tia Claire Toomey Orr on top, Laura Horvath second, Laura's BFF maybe, Gabby Magala in third, Danielle Brandon.
Hey, just EBF.
EBF.
Yeah, think about it.
Exiled best friend,
ex best
friend.
It's BFF.
Made that more complicated.
I was yeah, we don't know how that's going down. Laura and her brother are a little vocal right now. We'll get into that here in a bit.
Did you about screw up
Yeah,
and
he
say it
did.
again?
Yeah,
I did.
Yeah, he did. Do they live in the Alabama of Europe? Is that what you're about to do? Is that is Hungary like the Alabama of
rough.
Europe?
It
That's
was
what
rough.
you're
They
doing?
both have. Don't get it confused. They're brother and sister.
I wonder if there is like a country in Europe where they make fun of that stuff like that.
Oh, it is the Alabama of Europe.
No, I'm wondering
Yeah, what
if
country
there is a
is?
country that's like that. Like, we make fun of like Alabama and like West Virginia, right? But like, I wonder if there are European countries that they do the same thing. I don't know. I'm wondering. I'm curious.
Hmm.
Do you think so?
I'm going with
like-
Kyrgyzstan.
Just because nobody knows how to say it.
Yeah.
Malo, please. Did they have a falling out? Laura and Christoph have not. Gabby and Christoph were dating, as far as I know. They obviously took two very different paths on how to handle the continuation of the CrossFit Games. I don't know. I don't know what's happened.
They have a weird triangle. Gabby's best friends with Laura and girlfriend with Christoph. And Laura and Christoph feel one way, and Gabby, I don't know if she feels the same way, but she kept competing, and they haven't, as far as we know, they haven't spoken since. We haven't seen them together since, any of them.
I'm sure they've spoken, but like
they don't like each other's things on Instagram anymore. Stuff like that. Like there's stuff like that.
That is true.
Ben Smith was there as the support structure for Gabby. Whereas I don't think that was the original intent.
I don't know. I do know there were rumors that Laura and crew left Fort Worth pretty early on, but
rolled out.
That was a rumor. Don't know if that's true or not.
I don't know.
Malo doesn't think there's a cancel culture in Europe, though.
There is in Canada.
Travis.
Danielle Brandon 4th, Emma Lawson 5th, Ariel Lowen 6th, Alexis Raptis 7th, Annie Thorisdottir holding on to 8th place.
What a champ.
What is she doing right now?
Being a mom.
She's being a mama.
I'm saying, like, does she look like she's in shape, or does she look like she's being a mom?
I think she's selling some daughter skin. And
okay, so not in shape then. Okay, I'm just curious. Like, Rogue suits her. Right. So,
yeah, I don't know. I don't know if she's been training enough. And that is kind of the big question, right? Like, it used to be top 15 kind of general guidelines, as that's who got invited. So you knew that they were in peak physical condition. This system allows for some athletes who have not possibly been training as hard to kind of stay in there based off of previous performance. Alex Gazan and then Brooke Wells. So those would be the 10 female athletes who we think would most likely get invited.
And I think the only ones that might not do it would be, I guess Laura's a question mark, but Ariel possibly, and then Annie. I don't know. The Americans, I guess we just don't know because it's so easy to do it for them, and now it's not. Now it's not.
I think the Americans will go as long as they feel like they still
everything's paid
compete
for and stuff.
Yeah, they get stipends, and
it is different.
Yeah, but it's gonna be a freaking cool experience to go.
Yeah, I would 100% go.
Yeah. The thing that I think is interesting, and it kind of ties into the PFAA, is a lot of calls of, well, if CrossFit doesn't do what we want, we'll just go do other competitions, or Rogue should take over. Does anyone remember like last year's Rogue,
where we thought, what are you doing here? Yeah.
Like, it was pretty rough. And then they had to go deadlift, 20 times and set 10 PRs.
But it's not the games, man. So they don't get near as
much.
They've shredded people's hands.
They never ran that many events. And there for a minute, I remember talking about it because I was like, bro, are you practicing?
Yeah. Yeah.
I hope there is there. Do you know what the venue looks like in Scotland? Is it indoors?
It's an indoor. I think it's probably a lot like Dickie's from a
Okay,
Kind
I'm
of
just
floor
saying
plinth.
they thought, it rained in America last year. Scotland.
Oh no, you'd have zero chance.
Rains every day.
No, my guess is it's all indoors. You never know. They could do an outdoor event.
I hope they do some
something like that.
strongman thing like that, pays an homage,
100%.
or like a Highlander thing.
They'll do something like that.
Yeah, I don't know how with the baseball field, they had so much space to have all those big, huge things set up. I don't know what this venue is going to be like to be able to have all of that mixed in with the CrossFit stuff.
What did they call that big ramp again?
Matter Hill.
No. The one where with the rope. And
the turtle?
No, maybe it was turtle. No, it was the strongman implement.
Like
yeah,
the bull that they had.
Yeah,
it was a bull.
I can't remember what. Bull?
No, it was like a lift or some type of like.
It was like a roller coaster.
Yeah, it was Rogue Coaster.
Rogue Coaster.
Rogue Coaster. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm talking about. Not that. There's.
Well, I can't see them or that big thing, the
Wheel of Pain,
Conan thing. Yeah,
that would be pretty cool.
We have to lighten it, but
right.
Yes,
they get about half the size.
Well, it's funny. It'd be so different because CrossFitters would go so much longer than the strongman will, if it's a weight they can do.
Yeah.
Right. The strongman, like they make it this impossible weight, but they're only going a minute. Right. Like CrossFitters would never stop. Right. I guess it's a minute for how long. So I guess you could speed it up and then it's just a minute time. You know what I mean? That's what they would have to do.
Yeah.
I'd love to see, dude, Hopper and Dallin and Roman against each other on that. That'd be really, really fun.
Well, the question is, does Roman even compete? Because he's dealing with some type of hip injury.
He's all broken. Yeah.
And speaking of like safety and whatever, you remember the last year they had to pull the bull like with the rope, right? They like had it strapped on him, and then the one dude like snapped his Achilles and passed out. Like freaking crazy.
Strongman.
There's somebody that always gets hurt.
They're not about safety and strongmen. They're like, we're probably going to get hurt.
I mean, they're walking duct tape anyway, dude. They're like the amount of volume and shit they do. It's like they are just cruising for a bruising at all times. Something's about to snap.
Yeah.
I think with the amount of drugs that they do, like putting that, it's like, I'm not saying it like in any sort of judgmental way. It's just like,
that's what they do.
They do.
Tightens the shit out of your tendons.
They're on all the drugs.
Yeah. And it's like that you're just waiting to snap at any moment.
Yeah. The sport where half of them get bloody noses during the deadlift. And there's going to be the strong woman contest for the first time too. So
there's some, I watched that I can't remember where I watched the strong women, but I was like, it was a lot more entertaining. There's like some characters in there.
I can't do the strong women, man.
It's pretty cool, dude.
I can't do it. Dude, I'm all about the CrossFit women. I am. I love that we like have as equality as you can have. It's awesome that the women are just as good as the men. And like, Tia, they're better than the men, but I can't do the strong women, man. I just can't. They're just like when they do what they do and they throw whatever they throw, but then you hear this, like from 24-year-old woman, like as juice to the gills. I just can't do it. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I just can't. Like it's
I like it.
I know there's people that can. I'm not. It's nothing to them. It's nothing. They have fans too. I'm not hating on what they do. It's just not for me. I like the strong men. Maybe I'm sexist, but
it's for me. When you girls want to be on the show, I'll interview you. We'll kick John off, and
I will interview you. But
just don't want to watch you.
But I'm just you're not very entertaining to me.
That's what I do. If we ever got a strong woman on the show, I'd be like, so John Young hates what you do. And
I don't hate what you do. I just hate what you look like. That's not.
Just say you hate what they do. Just say you hate what they do.
I'm just joking. I personally can't do it. Okay.
There you go, John.
Nothing against them.
Rack up those bad comments. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah. Throw your comments in the down there below. We'll read them off.
They're awesome. Week. They're awesome. Y'all go kill it. I'm not going to be a part of it, but like y'all go kill it. You're awesome. You go do it. I can't, if water polo was on the TV, I can't do that either. I tried to watch it for 5 minutes. I'm like, this is pretty boring. I can't do
it. So this is where it gets interesting. So after that, Amanda Barnhart, Emma McQuaid, third place finisher Emily Rolfe, Haley Adams, Emma Carey, Paige Semenza, Emmental, Manon Agonies didn't even compete.
Yeah, she's shockingly really high. Yeah,
but she's been she qualified for Rogue twice through the queue and gained those points. Karen Freyova, Danny Spiegel, Bethany Flores, top 5 finisher, down there in 22nd. So essentially, Rogue's gonna have to come out and find 5 more athletes from here. The question is who? I assume Emily Rolfe gets an invite, right?
I think anybody on the podium will get an invite.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think Emma Carey will get an invite, whether she wants to take it or not. Emma Carey's a big draw.
That would be wild, right? Like she comes back and
does Rogue say, you know what? This year's games is just too wild. We're not if you made podium, we're not it's only,
no. They said that they were going to.
Oh, okay.
They said they were going to. So no,
we're pretty sure the podium ain't going to be very good at our competition.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm not saying they would. I just say they would. I mean, Rogue is fun if they did.
Rogue is pretty good though about inviting people that will be good for their competition. Like they think these people will be good. Like I could see
Sprague will be amazing for that competition.
Okay, they're the podium. It's the podium, right? But like other than that,
you mean yeah.
Like Emma Tall would be very good in their competition. I kind of think she'll get an invite.
What about Danny Spiegel?
She's
20th.
Probably. And she's been in Rogue and won events year after year after year. I 100% could see Danny Spiegel getting an invite. I think Guy will get an invite. Rogue has always been very good at inviting people that will be a big draw or will win events and do well in their competition. And their competition is different than the CrossFit Games. It just is.
And a combination of both, which is important because if you're a big draw but you're not going to do well, or have events where you're impressive, they won't invite you, but they usually do both, and I appreciate that about them because I don't want this to be the Instagram games.
No. That's not me.
I just saw a comment. I think the final might be up now.
The final
Sunday finale
influence right here.
It's been up.
Yeah. Who made that comment? You're welcome.
Yeah.
And guys, what I would do is I would simultaneously play our broadcast while you're watching that, just because it's better.
Yeah, we do timestamps. Vindicate, is the PFAA involved with Rogue?
I cannot see Bill and Katie. They put him in a room with a guy who is paid to look like a Rogue employee, but is not actually a Rogue employee. He's just a contractor that they sit him in there with, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we'll do that. We'll do
that." Josh Bridges and Spieler.
Yeah, one of the most comfortable people in the world.
Right. On the men's side, Jeff Adler, Pat Vellner, Justin Medeiros, Roman. With his hip injury, who knows if he'll be able to accept. BKG, 19th, 20th this year.
I think he'll go. He likes Rogue.
Years and years of, good performances kept him up there. Jason Hopper always does well at Rogue. Sure. Mm-hmm. He's going. Ricky, he's going.
Question mark. I mean, his ankle.
I think he'll be fine. I don't think he broke anything. So, in 2 months. It's the end of November.
I doubt Noah would go.
Yeah, like Noah going team. And what's interesting is Rogue actually, for their rankings, if you go team, you actually get points based off your previous 2 years of games performance with a 15% penalty. So Noah and Chandler both earned points based off of the previous 2 years performance. So they got points. So did Laura Horvath, in fact, because of the withdrawal, they gave her points. Dallin Pepper and Jay Crouch round out your top 10.
They'll both go.
Yeah. After that, Chandler.
Does he go this year?
I think Chandler, like Noah, I would say no, but Chandler, like his best competition is Rogue.
Is Rogue, yeah.
It's the best programming for him. If he could make a competition, he would make Rogue.
Renata, when did Roman get the injury? I don't know when, but I'd heard on Sunday he was dealing with a hip injury.
And you could notice like a complete drop off.
Yeah, he
did not perform like
he was night and day.
Yeah. So I don't know if it was something on Saturday, if it was the 1,000 box step ups or what, but yeah. What's that?
It would be dope if they invited Paige. Also Kelsey, but Paige would be a cool move.
Well, Kelsey hasn't earned it at this point.
No,
I agree.
Paige she's somewhat decently ranked for 24th. So I mean, she's
totally cool.
She may be a little too far out, but you never know. And then Mr. Fikowski in 12th, Sam Quant 13th, Yona Koski. Do you invite Yona?
I think so. It's Europe. He's very kind of one of Europe's best. I think they'll want to show European people's their best people.
And he's like right across the water there. I don't know. It's not his best competition.
It's not, but you want Europe's best people there, and he's one of Europe's best people.
Yeah, I mean, you really only can pick if Noah and Roman decline, then you do have a couple extra spots. Saxon Panchik, Travis Mayer. I met Travis's parents in the parking lot on Sunday afternoon. So
I love that you sent that picture to
us.
You
had no clue.
And I was like, I don't know who this is. And then I don't know, it's an hour or two later, you're like, that's Travis's parents.
Yeah, after I got no response from you guys, especially you.
I was just like, oh, cool, Spin. You're taking pictures of the fans.
Yeah. Samuel Cornwallier, Yellow Hosta, Henrik Kapalainen. And then you go all the way down here, underneath Will Morad.
Will
James Sprague down there in 25th spot.
Will straight up.
Look at Austin, awesome. 27th.
That's not bad for being basically in the sport for a year.
Do you think he'll get an invite?
He'd be a fun one to have.
Austin would wreck shop at Rogue.
But we're now going to cater a little bit more to the European fan base, I think. Or do you think that they want to bring over Americans? It's like I
think they want to bring the best people.
I think they want to bring the best people, but I do think it will be an onus on the Europeans. It's not like they have a whole bunch of people like at the top. There's like 5 guys, like in the men's field. There's like 5 guys that kind of like these are their 5 guys, right?
Yeah, BKG,
Yona, Yella.
I mean, they only have 3 in the top 20.
And then Heinrich's
4
one of their guys.
4 in the top 20 from Europe.
That's what I'm saying. It's not like they have this like so many people. I just think Austin would like in Rogue programming. Think about how they program.
It is his style,
dude. He's got all like the strength in the world as far as those type of events.
Mm-hmm. He's hardy. Yeah. It's funny. A note on Hatfield.
I'm not saying he'd win or anything, but I do think he's pretty high.
Yeah. I rescored the games doing P-score and a couple different things I play
I
with.
saw that. It's pretty crazy where he was. Yeah.
It was 10th.
No, I know. I was like,
But
he
it
had
was
the most up and down games like you could have, and like roller coaster of games you can have, and then the fact that he ended up the same spot is pretty crazy to me.
I'm always tinkering with different formulas. So it's like I have the original Z-score formula, the P-score formula, and then like usually one that I'm screwing around with. And in every single one, he was 10th.
Who was first though?
In P-score, it was Dallin.
Who? Was there an event that caused that?
I didn't have time to look into it. I basically finished it up this
Probably
morning.
Firestorm, because I know Jason was ahead of everybody, but like Dallin was also ahead of everybody by a lot.
Yeah.
Those short events can really give you a pretty good gap.
Ricky kind of got screwed because the run was only like 50 points. That's how I broke it up. And he kind of gets screwed because of that.
Well, I mean, Dickey's triplet, he would have been top 3 if he could run.
Right.
Like he was done with that. You know what I'm saying? He would have been right there in the mix with the top 5 guys. If I'm not saying to win, but he'd be where like Vellner area.
Tyler used the mile time for the run. Just use the mile as that was your.
And then I have the other one as well. I have the sprint carry thing.
CrossFit.
You said every rendition, everything you did with Austin, he was 10th place. You
tried
a whole bunch of things. This is like, no matter what, I am correct that he's going to be 10th place at the CrossFit.
I got at the end of it, and I looked at it, and I was like, well, son of a bitch.
It would be really interesting if you looked back at like how much time was wasted for no reps on the rope climbs. If he had gotten first, like on the squat, on the clean ladder.
I've done the math on it, like with the clean ladder. With a perfect run, I'm saying like no reps, and I was like a little bit conservative on it. Like, you don't know how much
time. Yeah,
like 5 row climbs, I just said a minute. Like, you know what I mean? It might be a little bit more than a minute, right? Yeah. Right. So, but I was conservative with that stuff. And he would have been 5th place
between the clean ladder and the rope climbs.
Yeah, Vellner and Hopper were tied for 4th, 5th, and he would have been behind.
And he potentially could have gotten first on Chad. It would have been close.
I left that as is because it's 3 points, right? But like 5th place, rookie year.
Right. Colton Merton's down there in 32nd.
Why is Colton so low?
Because he hasn't been at Rogue. So the issue is that they count Rogue almost as much as, or maybe as much as the games, right? And so it almost creates a circular reference, because in the past you did well at the games, you got to go to Rogue, you get to accrue points. If you got 16th at the games and you didn't make it through the queue, like you take a huge hit versus somebody that may have gotten an invite, like Annie last year, or even Tia last year, right? Like Rogue gets to choose. And so to some degree, they've kind of created who's going to be in the top, or at least has the opportunity to be in the top. Do you like this system where it's rewarding people's past performance, or do you like the old kind of method of, generally speaking, the top 15 get an invite plus the 5 qualifiers?
It gives us something to talk about, but generally I think I like the 15, and then I did not mind that they picked who they wanted. And then I think the qualification process is still cool. I just don't, there's no scoring system like that that's going to work, especially if you involve Rogue, which of course they would involve their own event. Right. But like, it just sets you so far behind so quickly if you don't go to their events, hence Sprague. So,
yeah, I did see they have notes. Like every time they make adjustments to, because it is a beta version, they do have, I don't know if I can pull it up down here. Qualifying system. They are looking at actually including adding events like Tier Wadapalooza. They started looking at that. So
it just like, I don't know why it's funny because it seems like my kind of thing that I would do. And it's like, I think I would just scrap it. Like the games is good enough. It would actually be interesting to see if we did this year's games and then go off of that. If it would bother us all that much. I don't think it would.
looking at top 15 from this year's
Yeah,
games,
top 15
or top 10, and then adding 5. Like you could, you'd add Laura, add Jeff, those types.
You basically have exactly who you wanted to add.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the 5 in the qualifier. I mean, I agree with Tyler. Like, even though like it was very biased programming, you do the top 10, like you still get everybody.
You pretty much catch everybody.
And then you can invite whoever you want to invite, and then the qualifier will get the rest. I agree completely.
Yeah. Well, we're going to move on to keep 5, cut 5, and you guys get to decide who
is it
is invited to
HQ employees.
It is not. It is
that would have been a fun one, man.
What are you saying, John?
I would have liked to, like, if you do we have 10 employees at HQ?
I think I could come up with 10 employees.
Just 10.
You don't think that would be fun, Tyler?
Which 5 you want to keep? Which 5 you want to keep?
Dude, let's do that.
I don't know if it's that controversial, though.
I think we just keep it at keep 5.
Nope. I want to cut 5 too.
We're going to look at the Rogue invites, and after the top 10 who get automatically invited, it's now your guys' job to pick the women and the men. So you'll have 2 different keep 5, cut 5.
Oh, okay.
Oh, cool. We're going to vote.
I like that.
Who will you invite if you were Bill
if we're Rogue
and Katie? Right.
Okay.
So we'll just go down the list. You guys got to call it.
I'll pick
Amanda Barnhart.
Oh,
we're just gonna go down the list. You got to put him in the keep or cut.
We can't just talk about it.
No.
We got a schedule to keep, John. This is a super serious show.
We talk about
We're
it.
We're gonna go on the list, and you got to say whether you want to keep or cut, and then you can move people around if you end up.
I like
with
Amanda
7
Barnhart.
cuts.
I do too, but she hasn't done anything. She didn't even make the games this year.
John, so much. What have you done for me lately?
I am.
Rogue is a good event for Amanda. A lot more than Emma Carey.
You're right.
Haley Adams.
I don't know. That was pick a different name.
It's Rogue, bro.
Yeah, Emma Carey's.
Emma Carey did very well last
Emma
year.
Carey is fitter than Amanda Barnhart.
Well,
you could have said Haley Adams, and I'd have been with your team. You just picked the wrong first name. I'm fine. We can keep her.
You want to keep her? Okay, let's keep her.
We're keeping her. Oh.
I just feel like she hasn't earned it.
We're gonna have to take a hit.
Emma McQuaid.
Cut.
I think we keep her.
We can't keep everybody, Tyler.
No, I'm not saying that.
I already have 4 names I like better than Emma McQuaid.
She's an Irish. She's Irish. They're going to Scotland.
I don't like going in order, Spin. Going in order is going to kill us right now. Because Tyler can't see past who your name is. Okay? Like,
exactly.
You don't, dude. No. We need
Let's
to cut
skip
her.
Emma.
Well, you want to skip? Okay.
I want to skip Emma.
We're allowed to skip? Okay.
Emily Rolfe.
She made the podium, bro. You gonna keep her or cut her?
I think we keep her.
All right.
I think you're not sure. Okay.
I think we keep the next 2 names, and then there's 2 more names that I think
Haley
we
Adams.
keep too.
No.
Haley Adams.
All right.
She got fit that Rogue.
See, this is what I don't like about not talking about it, because it's like I want to skip down to Manon and Freyova.
Dude, Haley and Emma Carey will do so much more at Rogue than Manon and Karen Freyova. It's proven that they would do more.
Fine, put them on the list. Then we got to argue about one spot.
Paige Semenza.
All right,
Cut.
My next spot is Emma Tall.
So you're cutting Paige.
I'd put Paige ahead of Amanda Barnhart. Quite frankly, I think Paige has earned it more than Amanda Barnhart has.
Well, we can take Amanda back off the list.
I would put Paige Semenza over Amanda Barnhart. Karen Freyova probably should be there, but she did quit. She was one of those girls. Yeah.
Yeah, she withdrew. So did
well, I'm not
Tall.
considering that. I'm not
But
considering.
Karen
You're not gonna not invite Laura.
Okay, right. But Karen Freyova is a very, very strong person. She's just as fit as Emma Tall. Like they're different people, but they always rank pretty close to each other. And she's very strong. I think Karen Freyova and Emma Tall are locks. But the problem is that Emily Rolfe podiumed. That's the problem.
And Bethany Flores was top 5.
And Bethany Flores was 4th.
Yeah.
Right. So like those two would be better for Rogue, but Emily Rolfe and Bethany Flores just had the games of their life. And you want to put Emma McQuaid on there.
Why don't you just invite Mal O'Brien?
Why don't we, man?
Celebrity shout out. I'm doing it. Mal O'Brien. No.
Here, okay. Let's cut Emma Carey.
Is that your compromise?
Yeah. Hear me out. Don't move it yet because I need Tyler's okay. Let's cut Emma Carey. Let's cut Amanda Barnhart, and then we'll put Emma Tall and Karen Freyova in, and we'll look at it.
Done.
Because I think the Europeans need the best Europeans out there, and the women Europeans are very good. The women on the European side, there's a lot of them, and they deserve to be out there. They've earned being out there.
Bethany, cut.
I think Paige is our next.
She didn't do some of the workouts at Rogue.
Paige was top 10. Paige Sigmunsdottir.
She was at the games, yeah.
Top 10 at the games. I think, and Paige is athletic. The log jump one that Danny Spiegel, we were all impressed with that. Paige was second, barely by her. I think Paige Sigmunsdottir is the last keep, and then we cut everybody else. I will leave it to you. I've said my piece.
I just don't like it because Emma. I would invite. Okay,
you have the final decision.
Fine. It's fine.
I've said my piece. You have the final decision.
We'll do what John says, but I want this noted. Emma should get the invite because she's nearing the end of her career. She's in Ireland, which is not very far from Scotland. She's going to draw people over to Scotland, and I think that you'll have a ton of storytelling parts for that. But we'll go with John.
Adrian will be very happy about this.
Yeah,
you'll have a ton of storytelling parts.
I am shocked that you guys don't have Bethany Flores in there.
Why?
Me too, man. But like, you can't not do half the workouts, and that's what she did. That's what she did at Rogue. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care about the games.
So she never can.
She got out there and did 155 and acted like she couldn't clean it fast, and then tried to hype up the crowd when she was in last place, doing singles on 155.
So you're out at that point.
I don't care. No. That ruined Bethany Flores for me.
I'm okay with this list. I'm a little surprised at Karen Freyova.
She's the European Amanda Barnhart.
Agreed.
So you're just going to pick European athletes. Okay.
I think if Rogue...
You can't go to Scotland and not have European athletes.
I think if Rogue... Okay, hey. I think if Rogue was in Texas, I'll rock with Amanda Barnhart. But if it's in Scotland, I'm going to say Karen Freyova. I really do. I think that is a good comparison. Honestly, Karen Freyova is fitter than Amanda Barnhart, but they have similar body types. Like, I like that comparison.
Hugh Hiller bit.
I don't know what. Nothing. Johnny, $4.99. Off topic, but question for JY. Who has a better chance to make the games again between Sarah Sigmunsdottir and Rebecca Fuselier?
Becca.
I'm going to say Rebecca Fuselier.
I think this is an offensive question.
I think Sarah's done. I think the sport has passed Sarah up. I am sorry. I love Sarah. I wish that was not the case, but I think that is the case.
I don't think the sport is even passed something up. I think Sarah has not accepted that she is passed the sport up.
You mean you don't think Sarah's
she doesn't want to? She's not
has passed her
anymore.
Up.
No, she's not invested anymore, but she's not accepted it.
Okay, so she's like half in, half out.
Yes, and I think Sarah actually could do well if she could get that together, but I don't think she ever will.
Yeah, put her in the legends. Put Sarah in the legends.
Sarah reminds me, if you go way back to Miko Salo, right? Like Miko was great at the ranch, and then he had kind of the eardrum issue in the ocean, and he just never.
One thing
the
after another.
The sport accelerated so fast
And
in 2010, 11, 12.
He couldn't hang.
He couldn't
And he
always
always
did the pull-ups. He didn't do the butterfly pull-ups. It was like the
Kipping.
modified butterfly kipping pull-up.
Yeah.
It was too slow.
He never
Gymnastics weren't
stopped
there.
working, even though like he was sponsored by Rogue. Like he was one of the athletes that maybe could have figured it out, but he stayed tied to his job, and it's like,
yeah. Unfortunately, that happens from time to time. Well, there you go. Emma Tall, Emily Rolfe, Haley Adams, Karen Freyova, Paige Semenza, and then you're going to leave at home Amanda Barnhart, which I think she'd be fine with. Emma Carey.
Which I think she'd be fine with.
I mean, yeah, she didn't qualify for the games.
I don't think she's going to cry if we tell her she's not going.
Right.
Neither the Manananganese.
Manon will just qualify through the qualifier again.
She will. She's qualified every year from the qualifier.
The last 2 years, like she's the only one that has qualified twice.
Yeah, we can cut her. She's gonna qualify another way. It's fine.
Emma McQuaid, you guys are heartless, and Bethany Flores.
I'm not.
I think she should be in there, but you guys
We're punishing her for her previous sins. You can't go to a competition and just be like, I'm not gonna do it.
You've been banned for 24 months.
And take the weights off of the squat rack.
And then just squat.
You can squat 135. Yeah, you can't do that, man. You've ruined the competition for everybody that's there watching. What are you doing? What are you doing? You can't do it. I'm with Tyler.
Danielle had to sit there and stare at the heavy barbell and the back squat.
That's due to inability.
Yeah. She tried. I watched her fail 3 times, and then she's like, "I can't do it." I'm like, "You're right. You can't do it." Right?
Bethany just knew earlier. She just knew earlier.
Oh, let me take this.
She didn't have to try. She knew she couldn't
work out. I can't.
You get one of those. You don't get like 3.
And then the last workout was just a disaster. Tried to hype the crowd up. I'm supposed to be one of the fittest women in the world, and Tyler Watkins can beat me in this workout because I can't clean and jerk 155.
Did she do the deadlift ladder?
I don't know.
I don't know if she did. I don't even know if she did a deadlift. I think she may have bowed out.
You can't do half of the competition. I just.
You're out the next year, no matter what.
I just don't care. I'm sorry. I don't care how
penalty box.
I just don't care. Like next time, do it. My tune will change. My tune will change so hard.
You try and fail.
Danielle Brandon tried and failed. There's no problem with that. I got no problem with that. Right? Bethany Flores didn't try. And whether you say my back was hurt, I'm not going to try and risk injury, then don't do the competition.
All right. Men.
Okay.
Chandler Smith.
On.
You keep him?
We're missing a name.
There's probably plenty of names on.
He's 27th. If you want to go ahead and add him real quick.
You reach way down into the bottom there.
He would beat everybody on this list. I'm telling you right now. Everybody on this list, he would beat.
I think they made some updates because James is now 25th. But
it's outdated.
Okay, Sprague and Smith it first.
I think Chandler and Sprague. Yeah, I think we put Chandler and Sprague in the keep. I think Chandler has proven himself over the years at Rogue.
This is gonna get hard.
Yeah. Hear me out in this. I'm looking at Fikowski and Yella. Same guy. One's Canadian, one's European, and one is fitter. And one is fitter.
How are they the same at all?
And one is fitter than the other. I think you put Brent over Yella. Yella's too weak for me to invite.
Oh, Yella.
But what did he do at Rogue last year? Wasn't he okay at Rogue last year, or was he trash?
Let's see. Last year,
if you have to pick one of them, you pick Brent.
He was on the podium. Yeah, you can't. Anybody who's on the podium, you have to invite.
They took the leaderboard down.
He almost won the games.
No, it's up there. It's. I'll find it. I'll effort it. Do you want to put Brent there? And then I kind of think
we want to give that spot We're going to put Brent on,
Yep.
but I reserve the right to pull him back off.
All right. Brent last year finished 4th. Remember, he screwed up the last event and got passed by Roman. And Yella Hosta took 11th.
Yeah, I think you go Brent Quant Koski. I think that's who you invite.
You're not even going to hear out.
Well, Travis Mayer.
Craig
Travis Mayer was 6th last year at the Invitational.
or Cornroy. Why not invite him, dude? This is
He can't do a competition either. He's just Bethany. What are you
That's
talking
different.
about?
He's gonna get sick. He'll eat some.
I think Brent was on the podium. You can't not invite him. He's like the same boat as Sprague. Not
Okay,
the same
move
extreme.
Brent over.
Okay,
that's fine.
I think Quant has proven himself. Quant was 6th place at the games. He's going to have home runs at Rogue. He always does. I'm not saying he will place high at Rogue, but he's going to have really good events and then maybe not so good events. And then Koski's the fittest European. I think those are your 5. Like the only argument that I think you have is Saxon. And Saxon's not, I just don't think Saxon's going to be good at Rogue because he's little and he doesn't have good power output.
But he didn't do very well at
like workouts like Firestorm. Go look at Pat Panchik's score. Any workout where it's like a sprint like that, go look at the Panchiks. They're terrible. Power output is not their friend. And Rogue will always have a couple events like that. And then like Panchik will do really, really good on the one GHD ski combo that they put out. And then that's it. Yeah. Right? Quant, I think he's earned it. I think he's proven himself. Koski is the fittest European in all of Europe, even though he didn't make the games. He is. I would put Koski as the fittest guy in Europe.
So you say, are you both in agreement? Cole is cut.
Cole's out.
Yella's cut.
Cornway can't do a competition without
getting sick.
Yeah.
Regrettably, I think Travis is out. Even though
really
it would be a decent competition for him. I think at this point, I would rather see Sam at the competition. And if we're cutting Sam, we need to cut Travis. And then Panchik's out.
I'm interested why you're so high on Cornway.
Because he could be so good.
We say this every year.
Didn't he hang snatch 300 pounds? And I know you're going to say, well, that's not that impressive, Tyler. It is impressive. And it shows that, like when Rich dips out, it's like you got the snatch. Like, and that was years ago.
Yeah.
Sam's definitely better than he was then. Man, just keep him out of Kroger away from the Listeria.
Hey, let's look at his 5K time. Let's go by 5K time. So go to last year's games, and we'll go by 5K time, and that's who we'll put in.
I'm sure.
I don't know who did what, but let's just do that.
Who? Between who?
All these guys.
Well, Saxon wasn't there.
Well, that's out on him.
I think Saxon's out anyway. I agree with John. And I don't think he's done well at Rogue in the past.
I'm going to tell you something, Tyler. Samuel Cornway was second to last.
He didn't do well.
He was running with Braun.
Braun was doing his best, man.
He tried as hard as anyone.
Yeah.
All right. Going down the list. This
all
is
right. Well, there's
Cornway. Quant 11th.
Travis wasn't there.
Travis was not there. He was nursing
And there's Koski. Man, I just lucked out on that, I guess.
Heinrich beat Koski in a 5K?
Yeah, he did. Go down and find Cornway.
That's like an
Audi
losing to a
there was. Yeah.
quarter mile.
He held off Bronislaw.
Sprints at the
barely. Yeah. Held him off. 16 seconds. Great kick at the end.
Quan Koski.
I hope Travis isn't watching. Or his parents. Parents are great people.
Have you lost faith in Travis after this games? Are you off of him?
No, I'm lost faith.
Oh, you are. You're throwing him out.
Yeah,
He gets sixth at the Invitational. 2 years ago, he got sixth.
You could have held up an argument here, Tyler. I would have heard you out.
The wave is over.
Like Chandler Smith, great performances at Travis did better at last year's Invitational than Chandler.
He's like Noah to you now. He's just.
I mean, I would trade him for Quant, but I think Quant's going to do better. Maybe not, I guess.
You're so wishy-washy.
People were making fun of me for sitting on both sides of the fences. I even sit on both sides of the fence with myself.
I see the inner confliction in you.
Yeah. Quant was even in there last
year. To
year.
me, you could trade either of them out. It doesn't really matter. Mayer or Quant.
I agree. I agree with you. I think they're very similar athletes, and Quant just did a lot better at the games.
Travis would probably bring a better show. He has moments, and like when he does have,
there are events
really
where
cool.
he'll send.
Yeah,
it. I agree with that.
You're out, Tyler.
Okay.
I can't argue too much. Would you replace any of these guys with Colton or Austin?
No.
Yes, I would send both of those guys.
Over who?
John's opinion
over
doesn't
who?
Matter.
Quant and Koski.
You can't trade Koski. Koski's off limits, I think.
Okay. I would take both of those guys over Quant and Brent.
Here's the thing, though. Colton and Austin don't play well in the European market. They're Americans.
They will after
and
this.
They're like
they will after this.
They're Americans. And like the Europeans don't get it.
They're like, Americans. I get it. They're Midwest Americans. Like I get what you're saying.
We like them because they're us.
Yeah.
The Europeans are like, we don't even like America halfway.
That's why I want to send them.
It's an invasion.
I want to send our best, and I want to invade Europe.
Send our hobbits over.
Yeah. I mean, Chandler fits that mold a little bit too. Like, let's be honest. Like,
yeah, a little bit. So there you go. Richard Margarine replaced Brent with Colton. No.
I said Brent and Quant. I'd replace them both.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Let's see. All right. Well, I think it's time for some PFAA. Before I open up the call in, I did want to draw some attention to some stuff on Threads.
Is it just me, or did this week everybody's like, I guess we're going to do Threads now?
Yeah, it was weird. Let me see if I can't find it.
It's like Threads could get no traction, and I swear this week I've gotten like 18 notifications that it's like,
dude,
so-and-so on Threads.
If somebody posts a thread, I'm not looking at it.
You're not going to look at it?
No.
What if it was from Christoph Horvath 2 hours ago?
Means nothing to me.
First one. Actions speak louder than words. We stood up not because we've seen an opportunity. I think he was talking to Tyler.
Yeah, directly to Tyler. Exactly. He made this for Tyler.
But because we wanted to mourn a friend.
It'd be wild if that's true.
Did you say they were doing this for an opportunity to be seen?
I said that they were taking advantage of an opportunity that exists, but it wasn't necessarily their intent.
This might be at you then, man. Like that's pretty word for word.
Okay. So this doesn't happen and you do the same thing? Fuck off.
What do you mean?
Like they weren't this gung-ho about it before. If it was this important, you would have done this before.
Yeah, I'm not against you. I'm just saying this might be directed to you. That's what I'm saying.
It's the royal fuck off. Everybody fuck off, not John Young. Fuck off.
Okay. I feel like you're mad at me.
No.
So yeah, they wanted to do this because they wanted to mourn for a friend and a fellow competitor, and because our group, I'm not sure who the group is, but their group believes that they're directly responsible for his death. So their CrossFit is directly responsible for his death. And their, I guess, CrossFit's response to it was inhumane and was driven by in quote values of a corporation whose basic instinct is survival and profit.
I'm trying to see this from his point of view.
I can totally see this from his point of view.
Now, when you say directly responsible for his death, I have a hard time with that.
Taylor and I got into this
because, I mean, even Travis is like really, really
Canadian.
No, that's the only thing he cares about is finding who's responsible for like the death, and then like firing that person, or somebody has to be responsible. He's very on that. And
I had a vision of Travis from what's that movie where Taken, but Travis is like, I have no skills, but I will find you.
I don't know how.
I don't know how.
I will. I will.
But it's gonna happen. Like directly responsible. You're basically saying they killed him, and I disagree with that. I don't think they did a good job saving him.
That's a fair way to say it.
I think those are two different things.
I pushed on Taylor about this because he was like, and before I say this, mind you, this was just after the event. I'm sure Taylor's opinion has morphed or refined itself, but he was like, I don't know that it's anybody's fault. We were working through this at the house. And I was like, Taylor, somebody died and it's nobody's fault? That doesn't make sense to me.
Why?
I mean, mostly because I've seen the video where he struggles for over a minute.
Yeah, no, I think it's a multitude of people.
Right. I think there
could be higher safety, like way more safety things in place, way more lifeguards. I think if the 2 lifeguards were actual lifeguards and water safety people, that would have helped. I think if you don't turn away the guy trying to save him, like there's I think so many people are responsible, and ultimately that's going to land on the person who's the head of the operation, which is Dave, right? Or unless there's a chief safety officer out there and he's responsible for the safety. But like saying CrossFit is directly responsible, I think a multitude of things happened, and it was kind of a freak thing that happened, and then the efforts to save him weren't there. That's not CrossFit killed him. That's not, I don't agree with that.
I'm not, but I don't know that that's what he's saying. Even with
that's what it sounds like.
To me, it's not what it sounds like. To me, you're still saying there's group culpability. In your own explanation, I think you have laid out a case for group culpability. They had the chance, or they had the opportunity to succeed in responding, and they did not.
The only thing I will say, yes, we did see him what appeared to be struggling. Now, we also saw him 100 meters in doing breaststroke and bobbing up and down and then turning over and whatever.
Yeah.
We don't know any autopsy results. It's not been published. Now, Luca was in comments last night saying that he didn't have a heart condition, etc. But again, I'm not ready to say that it has to be somebody's fault. Like, again, the autopsy could come back and say that he had a heart attack and like they could have gotten to him and it wouldn't have mattered. Like, I want to withhold and wait for that.
I'm not passing judgment and saying anybody is responsible either. I'm just making the case that you could make that case.
And I'm fine with them making that case. And like, I'm going to use their group. Okay.
That's what I'm doing. I'm putting myself in Christoph's shoes.
Sure. And if that's how you believe, and that's fine, and you like are boycotting all CrossFit events, like that's your right. That's your fine. You're fine. Like, you go do that, right? I don't think that means that like you should chastise everybody that's not on the same train.
Also agree.
And I do think that's happening. And I don't think those things go hand in hand. I think you go do that, and then you don't put 4 thread pieces out that everybody is a terrible person that because they're not standing against CrossFit the way we are.
Did he do that?
There's another one. I'll get to it here in a second.
There's a lot of things like that. I'm not speaking just of Christoph, but there's a lot of things that are like that, and I wholeheartedly disagree about that.
The dysregulated and hormonally imbalanced SEMA, also known as SEMA boobs, and also known as Map Girl.
Going through some stuff, ain't you?
Do you know if anyone has done an open records request for the emergency action plan? I think that would require it to be run by the city, right? If CrossFit is responsible for everything that goes on for this special event, which I believe it is, CrossFit was the one that was in charge and taking all the risk of this. I don't think you could get that from a open records request. I'm sure somebody has tried to get something, but I don't think that would include it. It could be wrong, but.
And I do think they're going to wait for whatever investigation to be done and for all those things to be published and known before any type of action happens within HQ, whether that's Castro or Don or the media team or anybody. I think we have to wait for that before anything happens.
Don't we also have this PDF?
The PDF that I have says that CrossFit was responsible. If SEMA, if you have something different, message me.
I love this. She's like, you guys suck. I'm just doing it.
Go for it.
Thank you, SEMA.
We're a small team over here. And then of course, Christoph follows that up shortly after. To sacrifice for the greater good was then and there. I assume that's on Thursday. One of the greatest lessons I've learned is that acting out of fear will move the masses into the direction of its creator. And human greed is more powerful than I've ever imagined. I am not against change and the group that's trying to take steps towards it. But I'm conflicted within mostly because my trust is lost in most of my peers.
And this is what I'm talking about, Tyler.
It reads to me like he's talking about everyone on both sides.
I disagree. I think he's talking about everybody that's not a part of the group that was vehemently against doing the games.
But I don't understand. Like, I am not against change in the group that's trying to take steps towards it. Is that the PFAA?
That's what I think he's talking about. Is like, hey, that's where I think he's on both sides of this equation.
Is he mad because the PFAA, Brent and Pat, continued competing, yet are asking for change?
No, I think they're separate. I think he's on the side of PFAA. And then everybody who's not on that side, he's lost trust in those peers.
But he's saying he's conflicted with that group because he's lost trust in his peers.
Well, the peers could be.
I don't think he's talking about the people that are trying to make the changes in the group. I think those are two separate.
But why is he conflicted then?
Like he's conflicted about continuing CrossFit, like CrossFit in general.
So he doesn't care if it changes. He just wants to walk away.
He's okay with changes happening. He's okay with trying to change it to make it better. But like it's like that versus burning it down.
You
know what I'm saying?
Not against change.
He wants to burn it down.
But I'm not against change in the group that's trying to take steps towards it, aka the PFAA. But I am conflicted mostly because of my trust is lost in most of my peers.
And his peers are CrossFit athletes.
But why would you say that first half of the sentence if you weren't talking about the PFAA?
I don't think he's talking about just the PFAA. I think he's fine with the PFAA, and then everybody that competed, he's lost his trust in those people, which includes people in the PFAA.
Which we don't even know who's in the PFAA other than the.
We know who's not in the PFAA.
Rich Froning.
We need to have Gabby on the podcast.
Ring her up.
Why don't you reach your Gabby? If you're watching, call in here in a second.
You got my number. Just go ahead.
Just go ahead and do it. And then he ends in a very primitive way. I think it is truer than ever. You can't have your cake and eat it too.
Try me.
I'm gonna eat the mess out of this cake, bro.
Yeah,
I'm gonna eat this cake. You gonna respond? You gonna reply?
You want to respond? I was trying to see what
speaking on behalf of the barbell spin.
Just put dumb.
I've lost.
The group, JY, Tyler, and I, Mr. Piperon, have hereby. Y'all do the next part. I did the intro.
I'd rather talk to somebody on the phone.
Yeah. 3 comments. So you're so happy you're speaking out. So much respect for your parents that raised 2 beautiful humans with a platform.
Ooh, is that like facetiousness or like?
I think it's.
This is never facetious.
Okay.
And then after watching your friend lose their life to negligence of the sport, it blows my mind that anyone could suggest that your choice to withdraw from the games was born out of some opportunistic desire.
Tyler.
That's all you.
No.
I can't believe you'd say something like that, bro. That's rough.
I was telling Jeanette
this is worse than your Nazi ties. Honestly,
don't make jokes.
Don't make jokes. Serious.
I was telling Jeanette about this. You know, it's like I gave Brent kind of a pretty rough time yesterday. I think upon further examination of the evidence, I think what Brent did the PFAA did yesterday was a pretty weak damn move. I don't know who assisted him in that, but I would have told him like, hey, you need more before you move forward. He brought a plastic spoon to a gunfight. Like, what are you doing, bro?
You need the report saying that the death was preventable.
But I don't even think he needs that. He needs more athletes to be backing him, and they need to be willing to pull out. He has no threat. He basically said, "Fire Dave," or what?
You've lost our trust.
Yeah. Well, we didn't have your trust, so it doesn't matter. Laura put her money where her mouth is. She gave up $100,000 something. So
she gave up $60,000.
Is it 60 for second?
She ain't getting second. That's my point, Tyler. She'd have been 5th place at this games. This ain't a normal games.
Let's pretend that she thought she was going to get second.
She didn't. No. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm messing you up. Go.
She pulled out. She didn't. She just gave that money up. She put her money right where her mouth is, and that's respectable to me.
That's why I
agree with her or not.
That's why I think Christoph is mad at those who continue to compete, who are now part of the PFA or are part of the PFAA, trying to ask for change.
Right?
Yet they did not withdraw.
Oh, having your cake and eating it too.
Right. They competed. They made the money. You got your paycheck, but now we're going to fight for it. You guys should have stood on your values and done this right away. I think that's where he's going.
Gabby voted on the poll.
I did not see her. No. Extra sloppy, Esquire. Tia said it best. If it were me, I'd want my peers to compete. I don't know how he can take a moral high ground against that perspective.
I agree completely.
Taylor Smith. He's talking about Brent throwing the games.
Brent didn't throw the games. Tyler's an expert at knowing if
when people are
quitting. No, he didn't quit.
Yeah, no,
he gave it all.
Blew the freak up is what happened.
He lost in the most respectable manner. He gave it everything he had.
The phone line is open. If you want to weigh in on Mr. Horvath, anything on the PFAA? If
Tell us your thoughts.
If Mark wants to call, he's welcome.
Mark,
he was very, very adamant about opening the phone lines yesterday.
He probably unfollowed us last night. I was
right?
like, you know what? These guys aren't taking my hints.
Caller, welcome to the spin.
Spin?
Yeah, buddy. What's happening?
This is Colton.
Hey, I want to add a English teacher's perspective to the PFA's request, because this is the only insight professionally I can bring to the conversation.
We know how to read. Thank you for your input.
Back in my high school teacher days, we did 5-paragraph essays. You start with an introduction and your thesis to 3 points. The PFAA has that. But they didn't explain their thoughts. And that's where their big issue is, and that's where you can see it. They clearly have an audience. The audience is CrossFit. They have their demands, but they don't explain their thoughts. I know Tyler has an issue with John Singleton from last year and his math not mathing on the lane 6 slow runner.
I forgot totally about that.
He posted a video. He explained his thought process. He said, here's what I would like done. Here's my math. CrossFit can then go, hey, we see your argument. We may disagree with it, but here's some changes we can make. And they said, we'll calibrate machines. Agree or disagree, they made an action step on it. It allowed CrossFit to check the numbers, run their own numbers, allowed Tyler, other people with actual degrees in math to say, you know what, actually that's statistically insignificant. But it was a starting point because you had a conversation. You showed your work. The PFAA here doesn't show their work. And unfortunately, that doesn't start a conversation. And I think it would have been really useful if they would have just had a vlog, 12 minutes, 4 minutes per point, explaining how their thought process came about and why they want what they want. Then CrossFit can then act on it. And it has a secondary benefit that athletes that maybe aren't involved will go, you know what, that's a reasonable thought process. I want to join in.
I actually really
agree.
like with what you're saying. I didn't have a problem with John Singleton, just that his math was wrong. But I like John.
I do all my math in my head. So that's
what I want to say is that I thought I had a similar thought today, in that I thought Brent should have talked to the camera. Brent is a compelling person, and he is a really great speaker. There's something wrong with this where he's like, I need to be official. This needs to be laid out on and it just all got lost in translation. But this dude can move groups. I've seen him do it. He's always compelling at the games, and he didn't talk to the camera. It would have made such a difference. And this is not me disagreeing or agreeing with his cause. It's just like, this is a presentation thing.
Yeah, I think Brent and the PFAA went. I mean, they put out an official press release. It's now on their website. It's basically this plus some quotes from Brent and I don't know, a couple others. I think their thought was the Men's Health article and the Morning Chalk Up article were their why, right? Like each of those added a little bit more context into it. The problem is nobody reads Men's Health or Morning Chalk Up. And so you just don't.
There's that aspect, but tone doesn't come across very well written. You have to be an extremely skilled writer to get tone and emotion to come across in a written format. You have to be really careful with your words. When you do it in person, that tone, that emotion comes across really well, and Brent is very good at that. I mean, his TTT podcast about professionalizing sport, you see his passion, you see his thought process, and he comes across very well. He does so well on camera that not doing that really diminished the message, because it wasn't as strong and wasn't as spot on as it could have been.
You're 100%. That podcast is actually a great example of what I'm talking about.
I wonder what went into the thought process of releasing it today. Like there 100% had to be like a thought process. Like, we have to get this out. Like, this is the day we're doing this. There had to be thoughts and planned out. I'm curious at what the thinking was there, because I'm with Tyler. Like, you don't have enough people behind you that want the same thing to make this happen.
When I see it, it looks. I would agree with you. And normally with Brent, I would think it was more thought out. But this reads emotional to me. it seemed like.
But if it reads emotional but it doesn't have emotion, it doesn't have the effect.
No, I don't. I'm not saying the emotion
timing,
of this. The emotion of the words does not read emotional. It is the content of it reads as if it was rushed and it was not as well thought out, aka it was emotionally driven. That's what I'm saying. I'm reading between the lines, so to speak.
C+ demand paper.
And I think, but think of the next steps that could have been so effective. You could have had Brent, Pat, Victoria, Royce on the Spin. You could have had them on the Mayhem podcast with Royce and the Mayhem affiliation. There would have been 6, 7 podcasts where they could have each gotten across their message to their different demographics locally and united the athletes in those regions to rally behind the cause.
Yep. And that's what they should have done. I thought that this needs to be like treated like a discussion, and treated a little differently, or orated as such.
Yeah. Thank you, caller. Appreciate it. No, I've actually reached out.
I don't know.
Reached out.
That was a really thought out caller. I'm not used to. So
We have some classy listeners.
Come on in.
Watch it be.
Hey, hang on one second, caller.
Taylor's the next caller.
Make sure
you guys are idiots.
Yeah.
Make sure you turn down your the show. But I've reached out to Brent. I reached out to him late this afternoon to see if there was any chance he could join. Unfortunately, schedules did not work. But he's always welcome. Anybody from the PFAA is always welcome if they want to join. They can always call in if they want to. Yeah, if Brent wants to join, Pat, whoever wants to explain, you're welcome. Caller, go ahead.
Yeah, this is Mark.
There he is. Yeah! There he is. What's up, Mark?
So the point I was trying to get across yesterday that seems to be lost on most parties and somewhat surprising that Brent hasn't thought this through is the PFAA is essentially a club right now. They haven't actually established themselves as any sort of official association. You can't just name an association, get 40 athletes to sign up, but not all competing athletes to sign up, and have it actually mean something and come to the table and collectively bargain and agree. Now, the opportunity presented itself, obviously, with Lazar's death, but that's where their leverage was. They could finally get more people to sign up, then come to CrossFit and say, we're officially, have their lawyers come to CrossFit and say, we're establishing a professional fitness athletes association. And then you're able to bargain and collectively bargain for your demands. And it seems like there was a rush to get their feelings out. And now the opportunity is lost because you're not going to be able to retroactively go back. You're going to have people that are going to pull back from the PFFA that don't agree with sort of how they're going about things, and your opportunity for unity is lost. And that was sort of the point that I feel like is getting lost yesterday.
No, I get it. I think the hard part with this is you have every year, anybody new can come into this, right? There's however many, 300,000 people did the Open. Where do you draw the line on professional, right? Because, somebody could come in that you've never heard of next year, not be part of this PFAA. You can't limit them from competing.
No, but you limit to essentially a sign up at semifinals. Same way they get drug tested at semifinals, the same way NFL draftees and players that come into camp. So NFL draftees, there's 272 of them. One of the first meetings they have after draft weekend is with the NFL Players Association, and they sign and they pay their dues. Then they're able to sign their contracts with teams. Same thing with unrestricted free agents and training camp. I have a little bit of knowledge and experience with this. And so you get all the athletes at semifinals. They have to sign up to be part of the Professional Fitness Association. Only then can they compete in semifinals. Now, that is where you're probably going to have a harder time to do, but that's where these athletes associations come in. Then you compare it to a sport like golf and tennis, and you don't have athletes associations. And the reason you don't have those is because they're individual athletes. And essentially the top players in those sports will never let in the Athletes Association because they're earning all the money. They're getting theirs. They don't want to share sort of bottom down and have it flow bottom down. And thus you have situations like you have with golf right now. Why is golf so screwed up right now? Well, partially because those athletes don't actually have an association. So they're all on different pages. Now, about 20 years ago when golf was on their move, they established sort of the PGA board and they got player representatives on those, but they're still having issues with that with the competition with LIV. And I think that's where the PFAA is in right now, is they're never going to be able to get buy-in from all the athletes. And without buy-in from all the athletes, they will never be able to approach CrossFit as an equal entity. And thus, CrossFit's going to laugh at them in most situations. Now, this situation provided, like I said, the opportunity for them to have probably the most leverage that they're ever going to have. And I think they just botched it.
Yeah, I mean, I think they do definitely have to have a united voice if it's going to do anything. I don't think they have that at this point, and they CrossFit would have to they'd have to allow that, right? Like CrossFit doesn't have to do this. They could say, well, if you don't want to compete playing our rules, you don't have to compete. And as fractured as everybody is in this, it's the next 40 men and 40 women up, whether you compete or not, right? Like if Christoph doesn't want to compete again, well, the next team is up. If Laura doesn't compete again, the next woman is up. And, they don't, if CrossFit allows it, they're going to basically give up all their power to the PFAA. And that's what CrossFit has to make a decision on.
I don't think there's a decision to be made. You don't give in to their demands. Even if you agree with them, you don't give in to them, because essentially you're giving them power without them bringing anything to the table. If you feel that way.
Unless terrorists.
Unless CrossFit thinks the most important thing is to have guys like Brent and Pat and whatnot at the game so that the competitive field is the top people. But if CrossFit's like, okay, we're willing to throw an event and have the CrossFit Games with maybe 5 of the top 40, 10 of the top 40 not there, and it's not even profitable now, so it probably wouldn't be profitable then, but it doesn't bother them, then they have no reason to give in to the demand.
Well,
yeah, they don't have any leverage. You're right. There is no leverage.
I'm kind of on Spin side. Like, let them go if they want to go.
Yeah, I would let them go. And
better statement.
Part of it is obviously they feel like Lazar's death, CrossFit had a hand in. I can totally see that. We'll wait for the report. But aside from that, the opportunity presented itself for them to gain some leverage. And like I would have gotten, if I was Brent in the PFFA, I would have gotten home. I would have sat down with lawyers. I would have ironed out how we want to approach this over the next 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. May have even gone into the next season. Private meetings. You don't need to go public with something like this. This seemed like a very high schoolish move. And it seemed like he was trying to not only appease the feelings of people who were at the games, probably in the back, but like immediate reactions that he was seeing on Instagram and whatnot, and just handled it all completely wrong, which is somewhat surprising for somebody who's more thought out like Brent.
Well, and that's, I step back every time because it's easy to villainize Brent and these athletes, but it's like they're legitimately just upset that a guy died. And I think they would say, well, we shouldn't need leverage. We're just asking for safety protocols. We're asking for this and that, but that whole equation changes the moment you ask for Dave to be fired.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that mean,
then it becomes a serious serious ask.
Well, yeah, then you establish, like I started reading it. And I was like, okay, this makes sense. Everybody's hung up on the word liaise, but I get that. It's like they want to be involved in the safety team. And then you got to number 3, and it's just one sentence, we want Dave removed. It's like, okay, this is just an emotional response. Y'all did not think this through. You definitely didn't discuss this with lawyers. It's why you have lawyers for negotiation. None of them are lawyers. The lawyers remove the emotion. They use the logic. They look at the money. They look at what makes the most sense, and they look at where the leverage is and how to gain more leverage. You enter into negotiations for stuff like this. You don't make demands. You can make demands later on. That's what you negotiate, but you have to come from a point of having something. So, like if I was advising them, I'm not a lawyer, but if I was advising them, first thing I would have done would be, okay, let's increase our enrollment in the PFFA. That was the opportunity. Instead of showing CrossFit, we have 4150 signatures. Let's show them we have 350 signatures, including every semifinal athlete from the last 2 years. Now you've got some power.
Yep. Completely agree with you. Thank you, Mark.
Listen, I wasn't laughing at you, Mark. SEMA, thanks for calling in, man. SEMA just subscribed, and it's a little bit offensive.
That's
what the hell, SEMA?
Better late than never. We love SEMA.
Thanks, SEMA.
Catching up on some chats real quick. We'll get through those. PJ Birds, 25 minutes behind the video. I think it's been 25 minutes since PJ has put the comment in. Sarah Sigmunsdottir is getting her body right this year. Top 10 finish. John.
Hope so.
In her camp.
Which camp is that?
Good Lord knows.
TBD.
D. Reed. Feels like Brent is lining up his work after CrossFit as the PFAA head. Unfortunately for him, that will mean accountability. Where were the PFAA concerns for events this year?
I started this one. I don't think he is lying. I don't think he wants to do this. I don't think he's half-hearted about the PFAA, even though you
think so?
It is his baby. He's not going full. He's not jumping ship into it.
Oh, I think he is, man.
I think he is.
I think you're wrong. I think he's doing this apprehensively.
What makes you think that?
That the fucking construction of that demand letter yesterday, number one, but also like this is not going to be fun. It's not going like there's going to be a lot of freaking. I think he also would have already done it if it were a path that he wanted to pursue.
I think he's been trying. I don't know if he has the support to do anything.
Fair.
Right? Like he create this, you ask for support, and then you go to have a speech like we talked about yesterday, and they all stare at him and look bored. And you obviously have plenty of athletes who are on the opposite side of what you've said. And so it diminishes what he's trying to do. I think he's all in. I think the question is, he's all in while he's competing.
Right.
When they retire, do you stay all in and continue that fight? We'll know exactly how strongly he feels about it. And we don't know when that will be.
Dustin said, Brent has said that before. Said what?
That he doesn't care. Get with the programming. I think all the young accounts need to start a podcast governing the body.
You got what? Fat John or Big John Young, Black John Young, White John Young,
Young
John
Jay,
Young Jay,
Dewan
Young.
I think there's another one. There's another one in there.
Wasn't there like
John Young stuttering, John Young yelling,
John Young swaffles.
That's just an account. Yeah, well, we would just call it the board.
The board.
The JY board.
JY board. MLK 5240. Does the PFA and CrossFit HQ know more than what has been released publicly? I think to some degree they have to know more than us. To what extent, I have no idea. That's why we don't know. Jay Sheets, more like PF gay.
I think Jay is actually Bryson. Would make sense to his oiling up comments he always makes.
That would be a turn of events. Larry Young, if CrossFit doesn't recognize the PFAA, they don't exist in reality.
CrossFit doesn't recognize us. Does that mean we don't exist?
That's 100% true. Yes.
If I recognize something that's not real, does that mean it exists?
If two people see you.
Chemtrails?
Exactly. I think that's it. Any news on the JY barbell front there, John?
Yeah, no, I want to give Andrew White a shout out. He is in max out season. He's a old college friend and lives in Missouri. He just PR'd his front squat by 40 pounds. It was 275. Now it's 315. He just PR'd his, what else? His snatch by 30 pounds. I don't know. He's PRing everything by a lot. He never wore knee sleeves. I think knee sleeves are helping him out a little bit, but he just finished his program. So yeah, he's probably the JY Barbell member of the week.
There you go.
I feel like we should do that. I'll give out a JY Barbell member of the week.
Should.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I have guys as well. There's way more girls than guys, but there are guys that do it. Yes, absolutely.
They've seen the way.
Daniel Arnson he comments sometimes, and he's.
I saw he posted something or he shared it.
Yeah.
Hit a big lift. Natalie, $4.99. Thank you. Makes me wonder if the PFAA becomes an overseeing party for the games. Will they also demand to be paid employees? I think that's where
the liaise comes in.
Yeah, the liaise.
That's where I see it not happening, right? Like I don't see CrossFit saying, "Come on in, work with, like, you're part of us now."
We cut costs, and we it cost us probably a life, but we'll pay you guys.
I think that's what the PFAA wants, right? Is to be the overseeing party, right? Like making all of the decisions from that. Do you want to take another call?
Yeah.
All right, we'll do one more. All right, caller. Welcome to the spin.
Hey, Spin. Hey, guys. It's Vicky. I'm calling in because, I completely agree with Tyler and all of you that the PFAA post was definitely came off emotional response. And part of that is based off of their demands. Because if you sit and think about the PFAA demanding to, I'm trying not to laugh, liaise with the team in charge of safety, then I don't think that they're realizing the legality that they're opening up themselves to, right? They automatically pull in liability to themselves. So anyway, it was just a point that came up in my head earlier, and I said, "Oh, so there you go." Thanks.
Call. No, thank you.
Thanks, Vicky.
Yeah.
I had an idea what she was talking.
You weren't listening to her?
No, I was. Travis from Vindicate, I need a shirt in the style of a games volunteer. You know how they have like the scoring ones, but I needed to say PFAA liaise on the back. I want that shirt.
Oh, you want that? I think you can get it.
I am the liaise.
There's some interesting information. If you go out to the PFAA, I saw this earlier today. This is a page on height considerations for gymnastic rings and pull-up bar heights. And it goes through athlete height data. It's talking about how high the pull-up bars are, how high the gymnastic rings are. And it gets down to this bottom point down here. And it says, kind of, here's, all these heights are based off of having the availability of 2 6-inch foam risers to stand on. Without these risers, the measurements don't work. Ideally, risers have a much larger surface area than 28 inches by 28 inches. Ones commonly provided. Those are the Rogue ones you always see underneath the pull-up rig during the games. They should be closer to 7 foot by 7 foot so they can cover the entire floor beneath the rig. This would reduce any injury risk of athletes falling when compared to smaller objects. I don't know if 7 foot by 7 foot, 49 square feet of 6-inch risers and how you would provide that at any competition.
John, what did he say?
I don't know.
Not paying attention to me.
No,
It's not that
no.
he's not paying attention. It's that it was so hard to like. What are we talking about?
It's
not-
I
I'm
mean,
not
7
making
by
fun of
7,
it. Like,
49 square feet per person.
Yeah, like basically
That
one of
sounds
7
like a lot.
Yeah, it's the entire like the whole pull-up bar area.
I'm listening, Tyler. It's just
it's not that.
It's a lot.
stupid.
I'm trying to make the point. You know, when Hiller's like, he says, "I'm not reading that."
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking during this. Like, what are we reading? Like, start over.
My whole point, and I think this is maybe why it didn't get the attention earlier, is like,
What?
why are you going? Why are you going after this? Right? Like scoring tables, pull-up bar height. Like, okay, but like to reduce any injury risk, saying you need a 7 foot by 7 foot pad so that somebody doesn't, twist an ankle because they come down wrong. That is where I struggle with it. Right? Like, I think that's where a lot of people struggle with it. And now, because people have struggled with it and this has happened, I wonder if there's some concerns about how they, like, do I join this? Is this what I want to support? Like,
Do you think it would have been better had the PFAA not existed until this moment? Without, so they didn't have the burden of all this. They weren't burdened by what has been. They weren't burdened by all this
Right.
that they had put out, and they're like, you know what, we're going to unionize over this. I bet they'd actually be better off in their cause.
It's so dumb, man. Just do whatever you're gonna do. Just put me out of my misery. I don't care.
I think John's done.
John's tired.
We're gonna wrap this up.
This is not. Listen, this is just not my role. Like to talk about. Like I just don't have a lot to add to the conversation. It's just so all of it's dumb.
All right. Well, we'll ask Savon and Caleb how we did, and then we'll wrap it up.
I give it like an 8. It wasn't too long, and they got a lot of good conversation in there. They kind of went after each other, which was kind of cool.
I think the show's a 10.